Andy, I wonder if you're a glass half full or a glass half empty kind of manager, kind of person. Do you see this run that you've had, this mini run of 2 draws as a positive, or is it 2 more games without a win that you are going to desperately need if you're going to survive this season?
We spoke about taking each game as it comes, obviously, excuse me, but by taking over last Thursday, we had a 3-game week, and we spoke about the points we would like to take from this 3-game week. We need to get a good result tomorrow to meet those expectations. I think there's been some good signs in the 2 games. There's areas which we need to concentrate on and improve in. And I think if we can do those, we'll give ourselves a better chance of being better in the final third, of creating better opportunities, of sustaining more attacks, which ultimately will then lead to us scoring more goals. And that's obviously an area of focus for me going forward.
When you say good result, after this weekend there will only be 4 home games left of the season. Is it a case of that win needs to be picked up, and it needs to be picked up very, very soon?
Listen, we know where we are in the league, but the league table only becomes relevant after the 46th game. We can only control everything that we do here, how we prepare for games, how we perform, and then how we recover to affect the next game. So that's our focus. That's what we're going to control individually and collectively. We are 1 game away from home, undefeated, and I stressed that to the players pre-game on Tuesday night that we hadn't played an away game yet as a group. So we've gone to Grimsby, deservedly got in front, scored 2 goals in 1 goal. And we're the better team in the first half without creating a lot of chances. Second half, the game changed a little bit. I think both teams were affected by the pitch. And again, going back to our work in the final third, we couldn't really sustain a lot of pressure. We turned the ball over a little bit too easy in the final third. But we've gone there. Now we've played 2 teams who are in the playoff hunt. One certainly hunting automatic promotion, and Grimsby, who've been on a really good run of form, who are trying to make the playoffs, and we've picked up 2 points. But as I said, we now need to perform really well on Saturday, improve on the areas that I've spoken about, and if we can do that, we'll be more than capable of collecting 3 points on Saturday.
When we spoke last time, you mentioned about the possibility of managing 13 games and having 13 games to keep Tranmere in the league. Just wondered if you could offer any clarity as to your position as caretaker manager. From your point of view, do you think you're here till the end of the season? Do you know how long you're going to be here for?
I don't know. I'm planning for 13 games. That's what I've stressed to the players since last Thursday. We spoke about the whole of the season, the 13 games, the points which were available, but ultimately taking each game as it comes, and that's what we're doing. So whilst ever I'm here sat in front of you and leading this group and being the manager of the football club, that's what we'll do. We spoke a lot about standards and what we do, so that's what we will focus on.
Have you or will you be putting your name forward to be the permanent manager?
As I said to you last week, it's irrelevant of my own personal situation. The reasons I came into the football club, how I've ended up in this position. Obviously, I've had a conversation with Mark, and we'll see what happens in the future.
In a season where goals have been hard to come by for Tranmere Rovers, I just wanted to talk to you about 𝗦𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, top goal scorer, who has had a bit of a different role recently. He's been playing as a wing back rather than a bit further forward. I just wondered, do you see that as his best position? What do you think of his performances in that wing back role? And could there possibly be a role further forward in the team, given that he is your top goal scorer?
I think people get labelled by positions and roles and formations. Amari's job for the team with the ball hasn't changed. What I want from him with the ball hasn't changed.
But if he's further back, he's less likely to score, and if he's one of your more lethal finishers.
Do you think he has been further back?
I would say being on the wing back as opposed to higher up on the wing could be, but I don't watch as much Tranmere as others do.
Okay, well, I would say that from last Saturday's game that we dominated large spells of possession. We had attacks. He was high up the pitch. He has to produce more when we get into the final third. His job when we have possession is to create opportunities for other people and to score. That has not changed from playing as a wide player in a conventional 4-3-3 or 4-4-2 or is playing as a wing back in a back three. So he's got clarity on that. He knows what I expect from him, as do all the rest of the players. So as I say, the description of a role and the position on a football pitch can be affected 10 yards and you're playing in a different position, so it's irrelevant to me.
A couple of players that haven't featured in recent weeks, just wondered if you could offer an update on their availability. Zach Bradshaw and Sam Taylor haven't been in a match squad for a little while. Are they available and fit and ready, and do you see them as having a role to play between now and the end of the season?
Sam Taylor is fit and available and is part of the group. We had 2 players spare on Tuesday night, obviously because of injury situation and a suspension with Connor Wood, so he's part of the group. Zach Bradshaw's situation is different, it's personal, and it's not something I really want to talk about because I think it's a private situation for Zach and his family.
Okay, fair enough. And any other injury concerns going into the weekend, or any other sort of injury boost that you might have?
We'll see when the team sheet comes in.
Okay. The relegation battle that's ongoing at the moment, how much does that weigh on what you're doing in training, what you're doing on the pitch? I spoke to Regan Hendry before. He said he'd be lying if he said it's not on the players' minds when they're out there playing. Do you try and get a message across that you can't really think about that, it's just about this game, or does it all have to sort of go in together?
Yes, I think it's really difficult to detach yourself from the medium term in terms of the consequences of what could potentially happen at the end of the season. We are in charge of our own situation. Again, it's something I stress to the players, that collectively, us as staff, us as players, the supporters, we're all in control of a lot of things. So can we keep in the here and the now, focus on the next game, control those things, focus on your own performance, and if we can do that, that will lead to better results and pick up more points.
In terms of how the fans have reacted to your appointment so far, there was some positive chants in your direction the other night. That must have felt nice.
Listen, as I said to you last week, I'm proud to be sat here. I'm privileged to be sat here of any football club, but I'm part of the group. What we do on the football pitch will determine results. The support has been fantastic, you know, in the 2 games. For a few hundred people to go to Grimsby on Tuesday night. It's a long trip and the support was great. I think they've seen the effort and the commitment from the players in both the home game and the away game. And as I said, that has to be the bare minimum, that we have to run, fight and scrap, because we are having to do that in our position. Just as teams who are in first, second and third are in this league, they're all having to do those things. They might have done them more consistently than we have this season, but it's important now going forward for the 11 games that is the basic ingredients of what we're going to produce on a match day.
And yet again, you come up against a side that are in good form, high up the league, Bromley. What are you expecting from them? In
brilliant form, have built on last season's promotion to EFL. I think they had a good start and they had a period of poor results, but they've managed to turn that around. They've got their own way of playing, their own style. They've also got the leading goal scorer in the league. So we are more than aware of their threats with the ball. We are ready for what they're going to do without the ball. But again, our main focus is to make the players aware of that, but focus on what we need to do for us to play well tomorrow.